Picture this. You step off a cruise ship, you get hounded by aggressive vendors, you smell ganj in the air, and it's just not a good time. Or you step onto the pristine beaches with sugar soft sand and the most unreal turquoise waters you've ever seen in peaceful bliss. Well, these two very different scenarios face you if you're taking a cruise to Nassau, Bahamas. And unfortunately, a lot of cruisers hate Nassau because they're doing it the wrong way. If you're looking for the most amazing beach day of your life, you can have it if you're cruising to Nassau, but you gotta know what to do and what not to do. And in this video, I'm gonna share all of my secrets and tips for how to have a good time in Nassau. Now, I spend a lot of time in Nassau. I cruise there many times every year. So I know firsthand that your choice of what to do in Nassau can make or break your experience, especially when it comes to enjoying a beach day, which is my favorite thing to do in Nassau. Now, there's a lot to do in Nassau, things like Queen's Staircase, the Bahamas Rum Cake Factory, the John Watling's Distillery, the fish fry, but I love a beach day in Nassau. So first, let's talk about the beaches of Nassau. If you want to enjoy a beach day, you can have a free beach day. The Bahamas are famous for their stunning beaches, and Nassau is no exception. Even when you pull up on the ship and you look out, the water here just is unreal, and that sand is so clean and soft. Now, the great thing about a beach day in Nassau is it doesn't have to cost you anything. If you want a day just to relax by the water, there are lots of free public beaches you can visit. But before you head out, it's important to know what to expect because an experience at a public beach might not actually be relaxing. A lot of first-time cruisers make the mistake of heading straight to the closest beach, which is Junkanoo, only to find it overpacked, kind of dirty because there's so many people, jammed with pushy vendors who are outright rude, and sometimes loud Bluetooth speakers playing conflicting music. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of things happening, not quite the relaxing day that they imagined. So if you plan to visit a public beach, there are other things that I recommend and a few things to keep in mind. Now, Junkanoo Beach, that is the most convenient, but it is the most crowded. And this is the mistake a lot of cruisers make and why if you go on any forum related to cruising, if you've never been to Nassau before, if you ask people what they think about Nassau, you'll have a lot of people that say, it's a terrible port, I stay on the ship, I hate it. Because they make this mistake. They go to Junkanoo Beach. Junkanoo Beach is the closest to the cruise port. You get off the ship, you exit the terminal, you hang a right, you're there in like 15 minutes. But because of this convenience, this is the most crowded, unpleasant, in my opinion, beach in Nassau. Again, you're gonna have loud music, vendors pushing things on you constantly, you're gonna smell drugs, you're gonna be offered drugs. Now, if you like that kind of thing, go for it. No judgment here. But if you're looking for a quiet, relaxing beach day, I would skip this one. Another option that's better is Cabbage Beach. This is beautiful, but there are a couple of things you should know. Cabbage Beach is located over on Paradise Island, which is where Atlantis is. So when you get off the ship, look to the left, you'll see Atlantis, you can't miss it. It's not close enough to walk, so you'll need to take transportation there. So that is one downside compared to Junkanoo, but taxis here are not terribly expensive. The one thing I do want people to know about is that while it's not as crowded and chaotic as Junkanoo Beach, you will still encounter locals there trying to probably sell you drugs. I've been offered the sale of drugs every single time I've been to Cabbage Beach and to Junkanoo Beach. But I'm okay with that. I just say no and keep moving. But the big thing to watch out for at Cabbage Beach is while it's gorgeous and you'll come and you'll look and you're like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's not the best for actually getting in the water because of the location of it. There's nothing to break the waves. So the waves at Cabbage Beach are really strong, especially on windy days. Now, if you're a strong swimmer and you like boogie boarding and that kind of thing, go for it. But if you like to just bop around in the water or float and relax or throw a football, Cabbage Beach is probably not going to be a good time. A better option, if you do like those kind of things, is to visit Cable Beach. It's pristine, the waters are calmer, but it is going to require a taxi, just like Cabbage Beach. Cable Beach is a really long stretch of gorgeous white sand, and it's going to be much quieter than Junkanoo Beach. But to get there, you'll have to take a taxi. Now, here's an insider tip. I always hire a private driver in Nassau. I'll give you his information here and down in the description, and he gives me all of the insider scoop. So I hate to spoil the secret, but if you want a really relaxing day on Cable Beach, visit Goodman's Bay. It's a local park with beach access. Most cruisers don't know about it. It's kind of a local spot, but no, there are no facilities here. So there's not going to be people to rent you a lounger and an umbrella. So you basically got to bring a towel and like lay it down. But if you like to spend your time in the water, that's probably okay. But Goodman's Bay is a great option to give you a more private experience at Cable Beach. Now, if you are visiting a free beach in Nassau, here's how to make the most of it. One is to walk further down the beach. When it comes to Junkanoo especially, a lot of cruisers, they just get off the ship, they walk, they see all the action, they see all the bars, and then they're like, okay, I'm just gonna get a spot here. And it's chaos, it's pure chaos. But if you just take some time, walk a bit further down, the further you walk, the quieter it tends to get. So you'll find a much more quiet and enjoyable experience the further down you walk. And that goes for pretty much all of the public beaches. Another thing is to expect vendors. Now, they're worse in certain areas than others. And this is a big reason why Nassau sometimes has a bad reputation. Now, if you're not interested, politely but firmly say no thank you, don't make eye contact, and just keep moving. Now, I have had some vendors at Junkanoo Beach in the public part actually get rude with me when I do that, but I have a thick skin, so I don't care. I'll take that all day over the crap I get on TikTok. But just politely say no. Now, a tip is to bring cash if you do plan to rent chairs and umbrellas, because most vendors here don't take credit cards. And if they do take cards, make sure you use a good travel-specific credit card. This one is my favorite. Now, my big recommendation, if you want a beach day in Nassau, you want a good experience, you want to come away loving this port of call and not hating it, is to spring for a private experience. So let's talk about the best beach resorts where you're going to get that relaxing private experience. Now, I like to ball on a budget. I don't like to spend a lot of money when I cruise because I cruise a lot. I would go broke if I balled out every time I took a cruise in every port of call. So I'm all about some public beaches. And in Nassau, the public beaches, yeah, they're free, but they come with the noise, the crowds, the vendors, the pushiness, the lack of amenities sometimes, and that's not enjoyable to me. So with some ports of call, I will do a free public beach day. That's awesome, but not in Nassau. If you want a truly relaxing beach day, I always recommend booking a resort day pass. Now, Nassau's resort passes, they're not cheap. So if you're looking for a true relaxing beach day with a bunch of amenities, I think they're absolutely worth it. So let me tell you my top picks. I've been to most of them. Some I love, some I like, some I don't like. British Colonial. For a long time, this was my favorite resort. It's closest and it's most affordable. So it fronts Junkanoo Beach, but it's private access. So you'll see all the crowds and the noise and the chaos over here, but you have private access to it. What I like about British Colonial is that it is close to port. It's easy to get to. You can walk there, and it tends to be kind of budget friendly. It's one of the cheaper private resort experiences. So it's a really great choice. It's actually right next to Margaritaville, which we'll talk about in a moment. At British Colonial, you get that private beach access. They have a pretty nice pool. All the use of the loungers and umbrellas are included. So it's one of the cheapest resort pass options in Nassau, but basically you're paying for that private beach access, use of the pool, the loungers, and the umbrellas. But if you actually add up the cost when you go to a public beach, renting a lounger and an umbrella could cost you 20, 40 bucks. So that actually makes this not as expensive as you might think compared to even a free public beach option. Another great option that is another favorite of mine, especially if I'm traveling with my young daughter, who's 12, is Margaritaville. This is definitely the best for families. Margaritaville is right next to British Colonial. It also fronts Junkanoo Beach, but it gives you that private access. Assuming you don't have mobility issues, it's walkable from the port, and kids love it. It has a small lazy river, my favorite, big fan. They have water slides, they have a high jump, which my daughter absolutely loves. They also have a surf simulator and like a climbing wall. So there's a lot of things to do here for kids, but adults can also kick back and relax. And again, they have that private beach area. It fronts a rock wall, so I always bring my snorkeling gear. I'll drop my link to my favorite set right here. It's under 20 bucks. I bring it, I snorkel. The snorkeling part is free. I love it. Oh, and the best part of Margaritaville, and all of these resorts, is they provide towels. I hate lugging heavy cruise ship beach towels with me to the beach and then having them wet and soggy and sandy and bringing them back. So I love not having to deal with towels. Next is Baha Mar. Now this is the best luxury experience. It's expensive, but if you want a high-end beach day, Baha Mar is the move. Now with this, you're getting access to a full-fledged water park, which is Baha Bay, where there are slides, a lazy river, and you get private beach access to Cable Beach. Now, this is kind of like Atlantis light. For a lot of people, Atlantis is that big bucket list destination. Baha Mar is pretty similar. So there are similar perks, and usually it's a little bit cheaper, but it's giving you that luxurious experience and that adventurous experience with all the water park amenities. Now, friends, I have a new favorite. I just got back from my most recent trip to Nassau, and I tried out a new spot, and I'm obsessed. And it is Breezes. Breezes, in my opinion, is best for an all-inclusive beach day. And when I looked at prices, Breezes was actually the same price as British Colonial. And while British Colonial is also a favorite, I like that you can just walk there. I like everything about it. With Breezes, you have to take a taxi or hire a private driver. Breezes has a huge advantage in that it is one of the only all-inclusive resorts in Nassau. So I went with my older daughter and my niece, and there is an age limitation where you have to be at least 14 years old to visit. And for many people, that is a plus because you're gonna have a quieter, more laid-back experience. And what I liked about Breezes, other than the all-inclusive, and by the way, they had a buffet, certain hours, but then they had an outdoor grill by the pool. The buffet was just kind of okay, honestly, but the grill food was really good. And it does include soft drinks and alcohol beverages as well. So we had a really great time. It was relaxing, but this is a resort where there are guests spending the night. So they have some activities, they'll do some sports, they'll do line dances, but then there are periods of quiet too. And we had the most amazing day here. We really did like the all-inclusive aspect of it. And if you're familiar with the Bahamas, it is not cheap there. So it really ended up being an affordable option for us, and I loved it, and I'll definitely be back. Now, another all-inclusive option that's not a favorite is Riu Palace. Now, this is truly adults only, 18 plus, and like Breeze's, it's all-inclusive. This is a solid choice if you want adults only and you like the all-inclusive. Now, my issue with Riu is that the pool is really small. It's over on Cabbage Beach, where I think the waves are really aggressive. I far prefer Cable Beach, and the property is just kind of old and run down. Now, Breeze's, it's not the newest, most luxurious property, but in terms of the pools and the amenities and the beach access, it's perfect. It's gorgeous. So for me, Breeze's definitely wins out over Riu, but if you want adults only and those 14 to 18-year-old age ranges still kind of annoy you, go with Riu. Now there's the big dog in Nassau, Atlantis. This is best for the water park lovers. Now, I've been to Atlantis. It was actually a bucket list for me for the longest time, and I came away disappointed. I had such high expectations. It was really expensive, and this is one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, private resort day pass option in Nassau. But it is worth it if you love the water park amenities. If you love water slides, they have not just a lazy river, a super aggressive river, which is fun, but it is aggressive. Massive pools, taking a water slide through the shark tank. If that's your thing, it's worth the splurge. Now, this does also give you private access to Cabbage Beach. I'll reiterate, Cabbage Beach is not my favorite beach in Nassau because of the aggressive waves of where it's located. So if you're looking for a beach day, I would not pay for Atlantis. I would go with one of the many other cheaper options, not at Cabbage Beach. But if you want the water park experience, you can't beat Atlantis. Now let's talk about how to get there. Once you've decided where you want to go for your beach day, you have to figure out how to get there. If you're heading to Junkanoo Beach, the public part, British Colonial, or Margaritaville, you can just walk there, assuming you don't have any mobility limitations. You exit the cruise terminal, make a right, 15, 20 minutes, you're right there. You literally can't miss any of these things. Now, if you don't want to walk or you have limitations physically, taxis are readily available outside the cruise port. You can expect to pay about $15 to $20 each way for the most common routes, and cash is preferred. And if you use a credit card when you're traveling at a cruise port or call, always use a travel-specific credit card. I'll give you my favorite recommendation because fraud unfortunately can happen. Another thing that's kind of exclusive to Nassau are jitneys. Fancy way of saying local buses. This is a cheap and kind of fun way to get around Nassau because they only cost about $1.50 per ride, but you gotta have exact change. Now, my favorite way to get around to any of these places is a private driver. I got my guy Clement, I'll give you his information. He'll give you a personalized Nassau experience. If you wanna do a beach day, he'll take you there. You'll actually be able to keep your belongings in the car if you want, and it's safe and secure. Spend as much time as you want. Then you can hop in the car and he'll take you to other places as well. So I love hiring Clement. He's not cheap, but he's worth it because you can do a lot of things in addition to a beach day in Nassau, and there is a lot of really fun things to do. So Nassau is actually one of my favorite cruise ports, even though everybody seems to hate it, because I know the right things to do, the places to go, and what to avoid. So whatever you decide to do, make sure you know what to expect. Just have reasonable expectations, know how to get there, and try to avoid those common pitfalls that makes a lot of first-time cruisers hate Nassau. So I wanna know, what do you think about Nassau? What are your favorite spots? And where have I not yet been? I feel like I've gotten to most of the resorts now, but I'm sure I'm missing some. Let me know down in the comments, and as always, like and subscribe, and visit my website, profmelissa.com for free cruise resources. Happy cruising!